What's up, Everyday Blades? Man, we got an epic one to date. So I've already had the Holt Spectre, and man, that was an amazing knife. The only reason it's not still in my collection is because of the price. When knives get over $1,000, they just, to me, I don't see the return on it. I could have couple of great knives for $1,000 instead of one great knife, Plus, I'm get nervous about using it and killing the value of it. And I'm a knife collector. I don't use all of them open in concrete sacks. So chances are I may sell it one day or pretty quickly, and I want to retain the value. So when knives get up over $1,000, I usually don't keep them very long. This, on the other hand, I got this on the secondary market, and I got a great price on it. And when these first came out, I was actually trying to get one because I had just had the Spectre and reviewed it and loved it, and I was just turned away from it because I didn't want to pay the price and moved on to other stuff. But then this came up the other day in the group, and I snagged it up as quick as I could. And man, I remembered everything that I love about the Holt Spectre. The Holts just build killer knives, and I'm not saying they're overpriced. I'm not saying they're too expensive. I'm just saying they're too expensive for me some of the time on the secondary market. I don't even know what they cost new. I've never had a chance to buy one new. I think they have a 25-year backlog. You have to get on a lottery to get one of these. You have to win by it. So any lottery I'm in, I just want to win it. I don't want to buy to win it. So to start off with, the number one thing with these knives is the tolerances, the milling. They're just phenomenal. I mean, these guys all talk about machining within a tenth, that you can feel it on this knife. Everything is perfect. The milling on the scales is so satisfying. It feels so great. It gives you the grip, but it's just a luxurious feel. Their blades, the finish on their blades, that kind of mirrored stone wash, just beautiful. When you used to say liner lock to me up to a few years ago, I'd say, well, it's a cheap knife, right? It's a Walmart knife. That's definitely not the case anymore. Liner locks are coming back hard and with a vengeance, and I prefer them. I don't have to worry about my fingers getting on the lock bar to open and close the knife. It's protected. I mean, look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? The centering on these is just gonna be 1000% every time. So everybody likes their detent a little bit different. Some like hard detent. I like soft detents. The great thing about this is it comes with a really tiny Allen key, and there's a screw inside of the detent that you can adjust your detent all the way in or all the way out, get it exactly the way you want it. But be very careful. On my Spectre, I loosened that thing up one notch too much, and it fell and hit the ground. And even in my living room is very clean. That screw is so small, I never found it. I don't know which direction it bounced off of. The floor is dark tile, blended right in. I'm sure it got sucked up by the vacuum cleaner eventually, but I never found it. I had to order another one from them. It took a few weeks to get. So be very careful with that detent screw. It's a very fine adjustment. Look where the back spacer sits in. It almost looks like an integral knife. Everything just fits together so well. Joe and Angie do an amazing job with these knives. People say, oh, that knife's too expensive, or this knife's too expensive. I've never made a knife with these kind of tolerances, but I know what it takes. And it not only takes talent and great machinery, you have to replace your bits a lot more often, and they are expensive, and your spindles, because they go out of tolerance pretty quick when you're machining 24 hours a day or even 12 hours a day. They wear down, and you can't get those tolerances. You have to constantly change them out. A company like this may sell their spindles off to another company that will use them, and they're just fine for them because the tolerances can go a lot wider than what they do, right? But they just don't allow it. They want their knives to function perfectly, and they do. I mean, they fire 1,000 out of 1,000 times. Just beautiful, killer knives. And the right size. One of my favorite EDC knives of all time, especially for the size, is the Shirogorov Neon. Look, just perfection. They're the perfect size EDC. I do like my bigger knives. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got plenty of big knives in my collection. You're talking to a Medford guy here, right? Even though I don't have any Medfords at the moment, I've had over probably close to 40 of them. Here is a Benchmade bug out. Great size knife. And the weight, they don't weigh nothing. I mean, they're super light. Scales are milled out all the way through on both sides. Just phenomenal knife. They've got a new pouch. It's kind of a hard pouch. Really nice with multiple pockets in it for all of your goodies, your card, and evidently this has like a scanner in it. You can scan it and tell what knife it is and the specs of it. This is your tool to tighten and loosen your detent. But if this is on your list, I can tell you, you will not be disappointed with the knife itself. You might be disappointed in the price if you don't get it at the right price. That's why I try to buy all my knives on the secondary. Sometimes the secondary is the only place you can get it, and they're higher than the table price. That happens a lot. So, Holt Morpheus, just an awesome knife. I don't know if I like it more than the Spectre. I would almost say they're dead equal for me. This one, I think it's just a hair smaller, but the liner lock kind of makes up for it, you know, because you're never gonna have your fingers on that lock bar. And if you ever go to fire a flipper and it doesn't fire, man, that'd be painful on your finger because you get aggressive with it. So anyway, snag you one of these up. I've seen quite a few of them on the secondary, so the prices are going down. I'll let the cat out of the bag. I paid $600 for this knife. That's a killer deal for a Holt, any Holt. So anyway, that's my view of the Holt Morpheus. Guys, thanks for watching. God bless you and your families. Say a prayer for our country. Good night.